right, let's go through these calls that are up on the board right now, and then I'm going to get to all the other news we haven't covered yet. And believe me, there's a lot of it. Tessa in Texas, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hey, Alex, how you doing today?
Oh, I guess okay.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, this is scary.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, this is scary what's going on at the Capitol right now.
Oh, it certainly
really weird.
is. It certainly is. I mean,
Yeah.
it is. What do you think of what's happening?
To talk about something else that went down at the Capitol on January 16th, the nullification rally and the events that ensued after that, which I caught on film and is up on my YouTube channel.
Tell folks about the rally. Tell them what happened.
Okay, well, I had come there just to support nullification, and I had no idea that there would be so many Deborah Medina supporters there. It made up basically the entire crowd. And supposedly, they were under the impression that she was going to speak that day. And near the end of the rally, the crowd started getting a little bit boisterous about it, and we're saying, where's Deborah? Why isn't she allowed to speak? Well, she never got to get up there and speak. So what I filmed was, it was just a slight confrontation. It was really more of a discussion, but it was kind of just an argument between one of the Medina supporters wondering why she wasn't allowed to speak, and then one of the people that was putting the rally on. And then
well, ma'am, you've got to fill people in. Deborah Medina is one of the Republican candidates for governor. She's surging in the polls against Rick Perry. I mean, she's coming from way behind Rick Perry and Kay Bailey Hutchinson. Tell people what the nullification rally was for. Let people know. Yeah,
and anyway, so...
Nullification of what?
Nullification of the health care bill.
Yes.
But really, I mean, any bill that could come, the Congress passes that...
And Deborah Medina was there and wasn't allowed to speak?
She was there and wasn't on the invited list from all the research that I've been able to do. I know she wasn't on the list officially, but what I think was it was a miscommunication between the person that had the permit and then the people that were putting on the rally. Supposedly, I've got to look up the code.
Well, that's in the past. We can move forward now. What else is on your mind?
Sure. So anyway, basically I just interviewed a lot of people just wondering why she wasn't allowed to speak at the rally, and the people wanted her, and she wasn't allowed to speak. And so now articles are coming out. There's a blog up on WordPress, and the author is Sybil West, and she's basically saying that Deborah Medina supporters are thugs.
Really, I appreciate your call, ma'am. I appreciate your call. I mean, look, Deborah Medina, every time I tune into talk radio and they're talking about the governor's race, almost everyone calls in supporting her for governor. And so, getting into little fights with other Republicans and people, it really goes nowhere. People listening in Japan right now don't really know what we're talking about. Johnny in Alabama. Johnny, you're on the air.
Oh, hey, Alex. I haven't been listening to you very long. I'm waking up. Obama's are talking about people getting thinner, talking about fat people overweight, kids overweight. And I wonder if you have any information about the government taking human fat and turning it into biodiesel.
No, I know in the movie Fight Club they take human fat and turn it into designer soap because melted down fat from murdered Chinese political dissidents is put into some of the more fancy cosmetics around the world. But no, I don't know anything about turning human fat into biodiesel, Johnny.
I was just wondering.
I tell you, that's off the wall, Johnny, but I appreciate it. Very interesting thought there for the day. Valerie in Oklahoma, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. I'm in Tulsa, land where the slave can't be trusted to have their own garden.
That's right. Your mayor says that's evil.
That's right.
You might grow marijuana. You might grow marijuana, so we need to restrict you being able to have a garden. You can't let prisoners have their own gardens.
No. Well, the reason for my call today, I wanted to tell you that I listened to a little bit of Glenn Beck this morning, and as if we needed any more proof that he's trying to become you, he said that he's going into the documentary filmmaking business.
You're joking.
No, I'm not. Second hour, it was the first half of the second hour. And he didn't really. He said, I can't really say much about it, but it's going to be really big.
Well, good for him. It'll be in theaters. It'll be bigger than Michael Moore, and it'll be a fake right-wing view of the world, like what we have with Michael Moore, giving you a left-wing rebel view, and that's just how they operate. But the truth will continue to smash their propaganda.
Right. That's right. I'm so glad that you're going to go after him. I agree with you 100%. I think he is just an absolute, he's just a demon.
Well, every time I tune in, and I didn't do it this morning. I turned it on driving into work, and I can't listen. I had to turn it off because of just how disingenuous and manipulative he is and how obvious it is to me. It's hard to listen to. And we'll just see what happens. But no, left-right paradigm. I mean, he literally, when I listen, it's like, oh my gosh, he's expropriated so much of what we do. And then always, days after we cover something, he then covers it, but then puts his spin on it. And to watch my work turned into what he's doing with it. But you know what? In the end, it'll just turn out good because he will wake up a mainstream audience. They'll then find out what's going on, and they'll find out the full story. But I appreciate your call. We're getting a lot of emails like this. My feeling is that this shooting at the Texas State Building this morning is a direct staged event in response to the closing of the gun show. You watch. He will have gotten his weapon at the gun show. See ya. We got to close the gun shows. Keep them up. D. Francis. I don't know. It may be that he was some concealed carry guy who came in and said something threatening at the senator's office. They said he was acting strangely. And then they tried to grab him, and it's a semi-auto, and it went off or something. I mean, who knows? We don't know yet. We'll find out soon. We'll have articles at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com that break that down. Let's go ahead and talk to Peter in Canada. Peter, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, nice to talk to you.
Good to talk to you.
I've got two questions on two different issues here. The first one is Deborah Medina. I heard her speak on the debate last week, and I was quite impressed. Are you going to have her on your show?
Yeah, she's in here. When next week? She's in studio next week, I know, one day.
Okay, I'll be waiting to listen to that one. Another one, I've been listening to you for about a year now, and I agree with about 95% of what you say. But one thing, on peak oil, you know, the U.S. is in Iraq seemingly for the oil, and now they're in Afghanistan, Pakistan to block pipelines to China. Why would they be doing that if peak oil was a hoax and all made up?
Well, that's a very easy way to answer that. It's confirmed that there's more oil discovered, proven reserves in Alaska than there is in Saudi Arabia. On one area, one small field, there is enough to run the country for another 50 years. But they will not allow those pipelines to be brought in because it's artificial scarcity. There's too much oil. There's too much natural gas. And so if they don't shut down large sectors of the Gulf of Mexico and Alaska and other areas, then they won't be able to have their huge profits. They don't want China and other countries to have their own cheap oil. They want them to have to buy it from Western oil companies. And so it's just like De Beers. You know, if there's so many diamonds in the world, why are they so expensive? Because De Beers, owned by the Oppenheimers and others, a big consortium, they have a world diamond monopoly. That's a fact, sir. And so they're trying to make sure that they can make oil more scarce.
Oil in Alaska is proven. Where can I go to see this proof?
It's so voluminous, it's completely insane. That they've only allowed one small area there on the west slope to be opened, a few other areas. The oil companies admit they could build more than 10 pipelines the size of the one they have that already supplies, 14% of U.S. Needs on the West Coast. The rest of it's sold that they pump to the Japanese and Chinese. It's common knowledge. It's admitted everywhere. There's an oil field, 640 square miles, right off of Louisiana and Mississippi. That's just everywhere you drill, you hit oil. I mean, everywhere you drill, you hit oil, sir, in that area.
Getting back to Deborah Medina, do you think she has a chance at winning that governorship?
if the mainstream media covered her more and said she could win, yes. And she is rising in the polls, and other patriots, other people out there need to run at their different state levels for similar positions. It's showing people, just like what we just saw in Massachusetts, that if you start early enough, you can basically beat any big incumbent. People aren't just mad at Democrats. They're mad at incumbents.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm trying to spread the word on the forums. Calling from Canada, I really can't vote, but I hope her all the best.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate your call. By the way, we have her in here the 26th. So that isn't this week, it's next week, and she's been in studio with us. Okay, previously, a few months ago. Let's go ahead. It's our supporters, just like with Ron Paul, that are really energizing her, along with many others. Let's go ahead and talk to Ray in Colorado. Ray, you're on the air.